And as promised, we are getting you a host of special interviews. We're speaking to experts, getting you a range of voices just to piece together the preparations and get you behind the scenes as far as the big day, the coronation ceremony, is concerned. We spoke to Unmesh Desai, a member of the Labour Party. Now, he gave his insights on the much-awaited event, the King's coronation. We also spoke to him about the UK-India relationship and what it means at this point and where things lie. Also about the Indian diaspora in the UK. Take a look. With me right now is Unmesh Desai, a British Indian. He is a member of the Labour Party and he has represented City and East in the London Assembly since 2016. Very good to have you with us. Welcome to WION World as One.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
What about the criticism surrounding the ceremony? You know, spending all that money on it at a time when the UK is going through the cost of living crisis that the people, the common people, are bearing the brunt of.
Well, yes, there have been some criticism. But look, events like this, don't come around every year. It's a once-in-a-lifetime, event. But you see, look at the value that events like this add to the image of Britain. We've been through Brexit, through COVID. We are trying to re-establish a relationship with countries like India post-Brexit, a very, very important trading partner for a post-Brexit Britain. And events like this have a value that you can't measure in monetary terms. You can't just see things like the coronation in terms of money. It's about the symbolic value, about how it strengthens our country and our relationships and links with the Commonwealth in particular. India is an important part of the Commonwealth.
Let's just talk about the role of the Indian diaspora in the UK now. You, of course, are a British Indian. The contribution of Indians, they also are said to be among the wealthiest in this part of the world. So how do you see this in terms of the relationship between the UK and India?
This is where I think that the British Indian community is part of a very multiracial, multicultural Britain. And that is why the British Indian diaspora, and I would say the Indian diaspora all around the world, is actually taking part in the celebrations marking the coronation, because the relationship between our two countries is so important. So whether we are Indians living in India or British Indians in this country, it is a relationship that has grown over the years. There have been tensions, of course, and no one's denying that. We had the little incident outside the Indian High Commission a few days ago, about which I formally protested to the Metropolitan Police Commissioner, whose office is just behind us, as to why there was no security that day. So, but incidents like that will not damage the strong relationship that we have. And that is why the coronation ceremony is a very important milestone in strengthening the relationship.
And talking about those incidents and the activities of the pro-Khalistani elements in the UK, why do you think they are on the rise and we are witnessing a frequency like this at this point?
Well, firstly, there are people who, by making some noise, have an influence that actually is far, have a media impact that is far, far greater than their numbers. It's a few people. Even if you look at the protest outside the High Commission, in terms of numbers, it was small. The overwhelming majority of British Indians, no matter which part of India they come from, reject such actions. And the Prime Minister, the government, everyone, the Foreign Secretary strongly condemned. It was a lapse of security. It should not have happened. It puts a section of the community in a bad light, but I would say that the majority of the overwhelming majority, the people I work with, British Indians, British Punjabi, British Sikhs, reject such actions.
Let's just talk about your party in greater detail. It's been accused of anti-India policies and also the unwanted remarks on abrogation of Article 370, the activism on Kashmir. Do you think that that's drawn away the British Indian voter from your party?
Our challenge is to regain their trust. There were some remarks made under the previous Labour Party leader, which did not represent the real position of Labour Party. What Keir Starmer has said very clearly is that he wants to restore those links with India, regain the trust of the British Indian community again, which is there, has been lost to some extent because of some irresponsible remarks.
Right. How do you see this entire controversy around the BBC at this point, the resignation of Richard Sharp as well?
Well, I think it shows the importance that we put on transparency in this country and in our political structures. Richard Sharp, the governor of the BBC, the chairman of the BBC, was a prime ministerial appointment. He should come out very clearly about whatever links he had, direct or indirect, with the Prime Minister. It was a big slip on his part, and he's had to, in my opinion, he's done the right thing by resigning. You've got to have absolute honesty and integrity and transparency and openness in politics, and we demand the higher standards of elected representatives.
I just want to go back to what you mentioned earlier about these pro-Khalistani elements. What more do you think the British government needs to do to try and, act against them? And clearly, not enough is being done at this point. And how does the Labour Party plan to change that? What are you planning to do about it?
We simply cannot condone violence of any type, hate speech of in any form around any issue, whether it's the Middle East, Kashmir, or whatever. There are ways and means to conduct the debate, and in particular, elected politicians, no matter which party they come from, have got a responsibility upon them to use the right language, to have a mature debate about issues that are very complex, and how we behave ourselves, how we conduct ourselves, the language we use. We always got to be looking at ways of peaceful resolutions.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.